The number one advice I've read in books and even seen in some movies is the need that partners should communicate better. Have you seen that? Like, communicate better. Just you can talk to me about anything. You could talk to me about anything totally. Just try and communicate, you know? Everybody says that. Just, it's just in the communication. If you just learn how to communicate, if you're broke, you communicate. If you are not happy, you communicate. The relationships can be just so pleasant. I used to date somebody who would look at me when I walk into the door and start asking me how my day was with deep concern. Like, you don't look very happy. Come, Eric. Just communicate with me. Communicate. Just open up and tell me how you're feeling. Oh my goodness me. Good evening. How are you? And happy Tuesday. How do you solve communication problems in a relationship? Communication is tough. I've told you before, I'm very sensitive. Very. If we were talking on chat or even on phone or even face to face, and you said something that was off, maybe to you it's not off, but Mr. Eric here would be like, wow, we are not going through that route. We are not going through that route. No, we are not. I wouldn't tell you, but then I just shut down. And so it's very difficult. And even the person who said something that is off without knowing something is off pays a very punitive penalty for something they've done very innocently. So then, how do you solve communication problems in a relationship? I don't know why this song is playing in my head as I'm talking. If you wanna be my number one. If you wanna be my number one, let me know your future plans. Okay, if you're new here, let's laugh today. Yeah, we've never pressed that, so why not? Yes, I don't know who sang that song. Is it somebody Wailers or Joseph Hill? But I love it. But even that song says the same thing. If you wanna be my number one, communicate your future plan. Well, it doesn't say that, but they want to know your future plans through you, obviously communicating. But really, on to serious stuff. How do you communicate, or how do you solve communication problems in a relationship? I'm not sharing these from a place of expert opinion. No, I'm far from it. I still get really ticked off quite easily about things, and as I've shared with you, I'm still very sensitive. Still, I've learned to live with it, but I'm trying to learn to express my displeasure about whatever it is that somebody has done to me. All right, I try to be as open and as honest as I can be. The problem becomes when somebody starts to bastardize what your discomfort is about. They're just like, you're such a child. No, that now then another fight will brew. So how then are we solving communication problems in a relationship? If you can't communicate without yelling or shouting, or your voice going up, there are people who are like that, eh? There is a tiff or even just confrontation, and their voice starts going up. People like that. Are you like that? So if you're that person, I think it would be wise to go to a public place so that you're embarrassed not to raise your voice. Don't you think? Because if you shout at home or in your bedroom, then maybe you can have an idea amongst yourselves and say, because I'm always embarrassed when people are around and I will not shout at you because my shouting at you upsets you. So how about when we have a brawl, we could talk it over in a public place, over lunch or dinner? What do you think about that? Because when you're alone, just the two of you at home, you start screaming. I think that can help, can't it? Yeah, so you go to a public place because when you see people walking in and out, you'll be embarrassed, and then now maybe you can learn, or it can help you learn to speak with your voice down. That's an opinion I have. Let me know what you think about that. Set up rules about how you engage in an argument. I think that can help. Maybe during a better time, eh? So you could say that, when we are fighting, you really always reach for the jugular, and it upsets me when you do that. So how about when we fight, you try and just stay the course about the things we're fighting about. So set some rules, whatever it is that upsets you when you're fighting or about the last fight. Yeah. Try not to interrupt again is a thing that used to upset me in my past, at least one relationship. So you're trying to express something that has really upset you. Then this person, instead of them listening, they keep interrupting. Or people who like to speak out of turn. You know, people are like that. So like I'm talking and then they tab in. They're like, so what I'm trying to tell you, babe, that has upset me. But even you like getting upset because, you know, like that. They're like, what? Can I finish? So you could set some rules. One amongst them can be, because this has been a problem I've experienced, try not to interrupt until your partner is through speaking. So that can be a rule, can't it? So let's decide today, Angela, when we are fighting, because we are married and we'll fight, obviously, because that's what a lot of people who are married or have been dating for a while do. You know, fights, some are innocuous, some are big, but fights are inevitable. So then you can say, let's not fight out of turn. I can express myself satisfactorily. When I am done, then you can come in. All right? I think that is another thing you can do. We're just looking at practical ways to sort out the bigness of, you know, these fighting business, because people fight. People fight. And people, stonewall, and sometimes they sulk, and then there's a communication barrier. So these can avoid those things, I think. What do you think? Body language is another one. Use body language to show you are listening. Don't doodle or fiddle with your phone, or what is it other people do? Or just look away or be contemptuous, you know? Maybe you can nod or maybe look at them as they're speaking. That can help. Can you imagine if I'm talking to you even now on Eric Stories and I'm like, you know, one of the things I was just saying, you're like, where are you looking at? You're not paying attention. So body language helps, I think. Nod so that the other person knows you're getting the message. And you can even rephrase if you're not getting it or if you feel like you're missing a point. I was just earlier on this week speaking to somebody and they said something. And so I had to repeat back to them, is this what I understand you to mean to be saying? They're like, no, I'm not saying that at all. So you can rephrase and use body language, hopefully well, so that you don't fight further. This is a big one. I've experienced this again in the past. Find the right time, not when they are busy or when they are stressed out. Maybe somebody has had a very hectic day. It's January, you know, and they've just finished paying school fees and paying for whatever it is people are paying for. And then when they set in and they're just trying to get some quiet and have their bum meet the couch, there off you go. You start going off about something you're not happy about. So I think timing is important. And also maybe just checking to see if somebody can take your wahala at that present moment. Maybe they've had a belly full of their boss and their work and traffic. They don't want to come and they open the door and the first thing is you with why you feel they should have done A, B, C, D, or X, Y, and Z. So I think finding the right time when they're not busy or stressed out can also help. What do you think? Right? Share with me some of the ways, by the way, in which you solve communication problems before they get to a place where he's not talking to you or she's not talking to you at all because you become a bum. Another one I prefer, these can help a lot, especially in the technology age we live in. Talk face to face. Avoid addressing serious matters via text or WhatsApp messages or even emails. These can be misinterpreted. I've said time without number that, it's very hard. You can really easily misinterpret a text. Texts don't have tonality. Somebody can read it in their mood and then decide that you're trying to hurt them while you're far removed from that feeling. So if it's important, maybe we have to revisit the need to meet and having face-to-face meetings. I look at you, because that way you can read somebody's expression. Like by looking at me now, you could tell if I'm happy, if I slept well, if I'm hungry, I don't know, it's easier than if I was texting you all this stuff, because then you'll read it in your mood, eh? Try not to attack. I used to do that back in the day a lot, or people did that to me. Use I or we instead of you. You are always late. So now I'll become defensive. I'm not always late. I'm not always late. You know that, Jessica. Listen after you tell your partner how you feel. It's very important to remember to stop talking and listen to what they have to say. Just listen. I know you sound amazing, but you've shared your piece. Now listen. See, now I can listen to you also after you've talked and talked, or rather, after I've talked and talked and talked. You can also listen. I don't have all the answers. I'm still struggling in this area. Not struggling, I'm not dating. But every time I talk to people who are not used to me, I sense some sort of friction. I'm like, yo, I don't think I can deal with this person very much. But it's mostly because of issues I've also had to deal with, because of my assumptions, and I can be very presumptuous about things I think they are thinking or saying, which they aren't. And so a lot of us need to deal with our problems so that we try and curb these communication problems that arise, and so that we can communicate better. Oh my God, just communicate. Oh my God, just try and talk to me. Just be open to me. Just be with me and just talk to me. Just open your heart to me every time. Good evening.